go back to the basics and what is farming? I mean, farming is food production. And food production is the most important profession to sustain human life, okay? And what are we trying to do with farming? We're trying to get one seed to produce more than anything else. So we've got to make sure that we understand a plant. And if we look at a plant, we need to make sure that we're not, when we're farming, putting in yield-limiting factors. We've heard of 57 bags an acre from seed. That is the yield potential. But if we ignore the soil acidity, if we ignore things like plant population, if we ignore fertiliser, if we ignore calibration, we're actually, as farmers, or as us as machinery suppliers, not disseminating the correct information to the farmers. And we have in the private sector, we have a responsibility for doing that, so that the farmers can get more on a restricted amount of land. So it's a more for less approach. If we go back in time, the pressure on food production was not as high. With the increased population, we've got greater pressure, we've got our input costs. We sort of farm badly, and you could still sell the produce at the end and you covered your costs. Now we've got increased population and we need food. So we need to disseminate the right information to eliminate these factors. So, you know, we have been farming with disc plows and disc harrows, and this is one of the causes of soil acidity, because we've actually been creating what is called a mechanical pan at about 8 to 11 inches under the soil, yet our plants, if we're talking maize, for example, for what's above the ground, if we call that a ratio of 2 to 1, we've actually got to think about what's below the ground, and we've got to encourage the taproot to be able to penetrate the soil and grow a really healthy root ball, so that it produces 3 nice cobs and can get close to the 57 bags per acre. But if the root ball hits acidity, number one, the nutrients won't be available to it to produce their yields, but it's the farmer's responsibility. If we now think about tines and moving to subsoiling, so that we actually break through that, so that we allow that 2 to 1 root shoot ratio to actually work. So instead of having our root ball going down to sort of 6-7 inches, which is the norm here, and our low yields of 15, it's in some places it's even lower bags per acre. If we allow the root to go down, and as long as we get the secret ingredient, which is rain, right, you will get the higher yields with the correct seed, the correct fertilizer, and you're allowing that root ball to go, so there is a ratio of 1 below the ground and 2 above the ground.